Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of power and strategy based on Robert Greene's renowned book, The 48 Laws of Power. Our focus will be on Law 13, which is all about appealing to self-interest and never to mercy. Over the next few slides, we'll explore the principles behind this law and how it can be applied in real-life situations. So, let's get started and uncover the secrets to mastering influence and control. Let's take a closer look at this insight from Robert Greene. He suggests that when you need to seek help from an ally, it's not always effective to remind them of your past good deeds or assistance. Often, people tend to ignore or overlook that kind of information. Instead, the smarter move is to frame your request in a way that highlights how it benefits them personally. This approach taps into their self-interest, making it more likely they'll be willing to help. This ties into the overall theme of understanding human nature and strategic relationships. Recognizing what motivates people allows us to influence their actions more effectively. So, the key takeaway here is, focus on mutual benefit, not just your own needs, if you want to persuade someone or get their support. Let's take a closer look at some key insights from Robert Greene. First, the idea of selective hearing. People tend to forget your past kindnesses easily, but they will never ignore a potential future benefit you can offer. It's important to keep that in mind when building relationships. Next, we have the concept of framing requests as a business deal. When you need help, show what's in it for them, what they stand to gain. This shifts the focus from personal favors to mutual benefit, making it more appealing. Finally, the principle that pragmatism wins. Most people are practical. They care about their future, not past deeds of gratitude. Gratitude can become a burden, but profit and tangible benefits are strong motivators. Together, these points emphasize the importance of understanding human nature and framing your interactions strategically to achieve your goals. So, here we see that Athens found this idea of repaying old debts both irrelevant and quite annoying. They believed that paying back past obligations didn't bring any real benefit. Instead, it was simply a drain on their resources. Now, when the island of Corcyra and the city of Corinth approached Athens seeking alliances, the Corinthians took a different stance. They appealed to history, reminding Athens of previous debts and long-standing friendships. This brings us to the Corcyraean conflict. The key concept here is transgression. It's about understanding how past conflicts, debts, and alliances influence current decisions and actions. Ultimately, this slide highlights how historical relationships and perceived transgressions shape political and military strategies, something that's crucial to understanding the motivations behind these conflicts and the broader theme of power dynamics in this period. So, according to Robert Greene, the Athenians believed that forming an alliance would help them dominate the seas. They saw it as a strategic move to strengthen their power and influence. However, what's interesting is that Athens chose to ignore the debt it owed to Corinth and instead sided immediately with Corcyra. This shows how much self-interest was driving their decisions, sometimes at the expense of past agreements or alliances. On the other side, the Corcyraeans were quite clear about where they stood. They admitted they didn't have any historical friendship or loyalty to Athens. Instead, they offered something much more tangible: their massive navy. This was a significant strategic advantage, and they were willing to leverage it to secure their own interests. This exchange highlights a key point in the bigger picture. Alliances and decisions during this period were primarily driven by self-interest and strategic advantage. The Corcyraeans' willingness to offer their navy underscores how vital military power was in these negotiations. It's a great reminder that, in the larger context of the Peloponnesian War, alliances often boiled down to who could offer the most immediate benefit, rather than loyalty or long-standing friendship. Let's discuss how to approach these interactions strategically. First, it's important to speak in terms of exchange, profit, and mutual advantage. This means focusing on what benefits both sides rather than emotional appeals. When engaging with others, always practice pragmatism. Don't confuse your needs with theirs. Instead, observe what truly motivates them. Could it be money, status, power, or security? Identifying these drivers is key. Deciphering their needs allows you to tailor your approach effectively. The keys to power lie in understanding these underlying motivations. By doing so, you can better influence and negotiate in a way that benefits both parties. Remember, the goal is to find common ground that aligns with their core interests. This approach ties into the overall theme of strategic interaction, focusing on mutual benefit, understanding what moves people, and leveraging that knowledge to achieve your objectives. Let's take a closer look at this idea from Robert Greene. When your target sees themselves as a great soul or a king, appealing to their sense of mercy can be a powerful strategy. By doing so, you're essentially inviting them to demonstrate their superiority and benevolence through their actions. It's a way for them to reinforce their status by granting your request, which in turn makes them feel generous and mighty. Now, it's important to recognize that some people are motivated by vanity or a desire to appear charitable. If you try to exploit their greed or push that angle, it could backfire and offend them. They might see through your tactics and feel manipulated, which would undermine your goal. There's also a reversal to consider here. Understanding what truly motivates your target allows you to choose the right approach. If they value their image as benevolent or noble, appealing to their mercy works best. But if they're driven by greed or vanity, a different tactic might be necessary. Overall, this slide ties back to the larger theme of understanding human nature and tailoring your approach based on what drives the person you're dealing with. Recognizing their self-image and values can help you craft more effective strategies, whether to persuade, influence, or negotiate. Now, let's take a closer look at the sources behind our visuals today. First, we have a striking poster of Hugo from Wikipedia, which gives us a glimpse into his literary legacy. Next, from Facts and Details in Europe, there's an image that helps contextualize the historical setting we're discussing. Moving on, we see a powerful depiction of Socrates' death from Aeon, reminding us of the philosophical debates and the importance of critical thinking. Then, from period art, there's a lively Renaissance marketplace scene, illustrating the period's cultural and economic vibrancy. Additionally, Stockcake offers an image of a balanced scale, symbolizing justice and ethical considerations that are central to our discussion. Lastly, Picbist provides a thought-provoking illustration related to our theme, tying together ideas of innovation and societal progress. These sources collectively enrich our understanding and connect the visual elements to the broader themes of the presentation. Now, moving on to our final slide, I want to acknowledge the sources behind the visuals we've explored today. The main source is the Kress Foundation, whose website, www.cressfoundation.org, provides a wealth of information and resources. The specific image we've discussed is available through their platform, which helps us understand the historical and cultural context of the artwork. The image itself, which you see here, is a fascinating example of the techniques and themes we've been examining. It's important to recognize how these sources allow us to verify and deepen our understanding of the material. By referencing reputable sources like the Kress Foundation, we ensure that our insights are grounded in scholarship and research. This also highlights the importance of accurate sourcing in art history and education, connecting to our overall theme of appreciating and understanding cultural heritage. So, always remember to check your sources, as they lend credibility and richness to your work. Thank you for following along through this presentation.